have people come up to you and say, like, hey, are you Austin Ekeler? Because I was in the Bahamas one time. This isn't the only time it's come up. And they come up to me like, are you AJ Dillon? And I was like, yeah, let's get a picture. Let's get a picture. So
yeah, this is our jam.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Toonen to Dillon. We got Will back in the studio this week, and we're joined by a very special guest. We got Austin Ekeler, running back for the Washington Commanders, and also awesome entrepreneur. He's always doing a little bit of something, a little bit of this and that, and I just recently learned a weight room warrior. We'll get into that, I'm sure, throughout the podcast, but appreciate you guys listening as always. And Austin, thanks for being here, man. Thanks for making the time.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me in. This is funny because I don't know. I gotta start with this. Sorry if I'm taking us on a detour here, but
Are you good?
Do you ever have people come up to you and say, like, hey, are you Austin Ekeler? Because I was in the Bahamas one time. This isn't the only time it's come up, and they come up to me like, are you AJ Dillon? And I was like, yeah, let's get a picture. Let's get a picture. So I pictured you a couple times in my life. So I'm glad we got this connection. We can chat about it.
Absolutely, man.
That was actually going to be my first question. It's like, hey, you guys get asked if you guys are tweeting. The jersey swap's going to be crazy. That's all I got to say.
Hey,
that's got to go down,
bro. All the time, bro. I always get that, and like you said, bro. Sometimes I just mess with you. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
man.
good stuff. Good stuff.
That is too good. Twins, though. I remember we were talking about it. We went to that Twitch Rivals, maybe like when I was down in Arizona. I saw you, and so like both of us being in the same place, they had that little like after party meet and greet. And somebody was like, "You did so well, Austin." I'm
like, oh, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Oh, man.
But yeah, no, it is too good. How are you feeling? We're a week out from camp, pretty much. I know you're doing a lot. Like, what are you trying to do right before camp? Is there any like last minute fun? Me and Will, we got a family cornhole tournament coming up, so that's for bragging rights for the year. So that's our big last hoorah send off. You got any last send off before camp?
Yeah, man. My wife and I have been grinding some golf. Like, we have been just swinging the clubs. Like, we do like this couples scramble. Like, so we hit whichever ball is the best between us, and we'll challenge other people, other couples, whoever wants to play with us. And so I've been just on the sticks, and she's been getting dialed in too. So that's been our kind of last hoorah before we, calm it down a little bit. Just not because we don't want to anymore, but we just don't have the time. Got the commitment, got to be on the field. So that's been what we've been up to.
A little golf and giggles.
Yes. How's the cornhole been? Is that something that you guys do every year? Is this like a new thing or what?
So I think this is the 5th year of it being legit. We got like a trophy with like the Stanley Cup tiers, and your name gets engraved for the year.
Nice.
Have you ever seen Dinner for Schmucks, the movie?
I have not.
Okay, well, it's sort of like that. So we have pretty much 8 people in the family, and everybody invites a guest, but it's a mystery until they come and they show up. And everybody else's names are thrown in the hat. So even though you invite them, you can't just go get somebody from the American Cornhole League.
Okay.
And then it's a free-for-all. We got, food and music. We got a bracket, and then your name gets put engraved on the trophy. So I'm not on there yet. So
That's dope. This is the year, huh? All right, well, that's it.
Yeah. I will keep you updated, though. We'll send you some pictures.
For sure.
I guess, like, how was it, obviously you're going in your 2nd year with the Commanders. I almost slipped up in the intro and said Chargers just because I've watched, you were there for so long, did your thing there for so long. Kind of what was that process like going to a new team? I'm joining the Eagles now. We're division rivals and everything. So, it was a smooth transition, but for me, how was it for you being there for so long?
Yeah, it's something that, as an athlete, we like to be where there's structure. We like to be where there's some type of camaraderie built or some culture built where we are part of something. And I think being a part of the Chargers community for 7 years and then having to go join a new one was definitely something that was like, the ends to something beautiful, which everything does. And so it definitely had to transition through that and kind of look forward to what was next to come, which was Washington. And didn't really know what to expect. They had gone through, ownership change, we had 60 new players on that team that were not there from the year before, which was crazy. So it was like kind of like a whole new squad from all over the place. Just a few core players that were still there, and new head coach. And so when we came together, it kind of was like everyone was kind of new, and Dan Quinn, our head coach, kind of brought us in and said, his philosophy about building brotherhood, building culture, and that's exactly what we needed. We have enough old guys. I think we're the oldest team in the league. I saw a little stat out there. I think we averaged we're like 27, like on the backside of 27.
That's old now?
28.
Oh,
hey, everybody's got to rock the baldy.
Right. That's about to be our new logo. So, but no, for sure. So we have a lot of guys that played a lot of ball, been around, just a lot of good locker rooms, been leaders in locker rooms. So that transition was pretty easy because of that. But at first, there's just the uncertainty of like, what am I getting myself into? And then, you throw in a stud quarterback like Jaden, and then, we're able to put some wins together and give ourselves a chance to go and, make a playoff run. So it was like anything. There's change.
Yeah.
There's change. You have to go through some stuff. I got to move my family. It was 2 weeks. Signed with Commanders 2 weeks later. We were on the East Coast.
Coast to coast like that?
Yeah. Coast to coast. That was wild. So getting time change, going from the sunshine to the snow. I didn't
think about the time change. The time change, I went from the Midwest to the East Coast. It's like, it's a good, I'm only losing an hour.
Right.
You're all the way over there.
For sure. And one of the funny things is it snowed like 4 inches one day, and I go outside and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot it snows here, because the last 7 years I've been in the sun, so I don't have like a snow scraper or anything like that. And so I had this funny video. I'm out there like with my brooming off, and I was like, hey, if anyone's got a snow scraper I can borrow, let me know.
Dude, that is one of my favorite things when, I've been with the Packers the last few years, and you get the guys coming up from Georgia or Florida or wherever from the nice warm states, and they're like, it ain't that cold. It ain't that cold. That's fine. But once you leave your car outside and the snow gets on it,
right.
Then you see them when we're getting back from the airport. Everybody's outside. They're like trying to heat up their cars, shivering outside. Like, hey, bro, we got some extras. Here you go.
Right. No, it's definitely needed. So I'm dialed in now this year. Hey, year 2 coming back, so I'm ready.
For sure. What's the traffic like?
Traffic over there?
Is it different? What's worse,
LA
or DC?
Here's the thing. DC is still congested. Like, it's still like a big, bottleneck going into DC for games and stuff like that. But we live so far outside of town, just like we were in LA. Like, when we were in LA, we were in Orange County. So we were still in like a little subdivision that's kind of far off. So it's not too bad.
That is fair.
How's the transition been for you, though?
No, it's been good. It's been good. I've been, obviously Green Bay for 5. It's been nice. I knew Saquon a little bit, and I knew some of the guys over there, and it was pretty smooth. And OTAs were fun, just like you said. Obviously, we moved a little bit, to the East Coast, but it was cool to kind of go from Green Bay, where it's very low key and like a little slow pace, to you get dropped right in the middle of the city. And so, during OTAs, you got more time. So it's like, let's go to a comedy show. Let's go get some food. Let's go explore. So it was cool. We have a 2-year-old, and he's just in that planes, trains, and automobile phase. So we take him on a walk, and he sees a bus. He says, yellow truck, big truck, blue truck. And so it's like easy entertainment. He just looks out the window and watches the cars all day. So it's been good, man. Looking forward to camp.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just one little comment on that. I think it's also cool, just kind of in hindsight, to be in a new community, feel like what a new culture is. You guys had a great culture in Green Bay, obviously, but it's cool to kind of just see just the differences, across there, and also branch into some new atmospheres. Now you'll pick up some people that'll be following you from the Eagles community. So shout out to football for just bringing all these communities together, and it's cool that we get to be a part of it.
For sure. I thought you were about to say shout out to the Eagles right there.
No. I can't do that. I can't make that clip. I might get cut before I get into camp.
You've had a really cool career, Austin, of just kind of grinding it out, and from being undrafted and everything, and then working your way to the top of being the starting running back for the Chargers and all that. But I'm kind of curious on the business side of things. When did you really start to put more focus and emphasis in your entrepreneurial mindset and just growing that side of it after you've kind of built your own football brand?
Yeah, I kind of did it backwards. Like, football was the pivot for me.
Oh, okay.
So I was going to school for business. The school that I was at, no one had ever made it to the NFL. So for me, kind of going through the process in college, there was never any scouts around. There was not a pro day. I was never around any of that type of environment. So for me, it was like, all right, I'm going to use my brain to get my next opportunity. So I had a job offer to an oil and gas company. I was going to work as a landman. Basically, I'm negotiating contracts with private mineral owners and an oil and gas company. So I was like business, legal. That's where my mind was at. And after my junior year, I actually had my head coach come to me and say, "Hey man, you have some scouts that have been calling and asking about you." And I'm like NFL? Okay, these people don't even exist to me. Like I don't know who these people are. Like cool. Like what does that mean? So I started looking into the NFL a little bit more. I actually didn't really watch it growing up. I grew up on a ranch, and so I really watched bass fishing and bull riding growing up. Nothing professional in the traditional sports world. And so after that, after my junior year, I was like, okay, let me look into it a little bit more. And then sure enough, after my senior year, had an opportunity to go join a pro day at CU Boulder with the Buffs, and had a lot of interest from that. But for me, I was interested in real estate, so real estate was like my backbone of what I was learning about. My connections were all there. So for me, my entrepreneur side can never shut off. It's a blessing and a curse. Like my brain is always running to do the next project and keep projects going and moving forward. So it's kind of been what I've put in a lot of my off-season time or a lot of my downtime in. And so I built a pretty good real estate portfolio and learned a lot and been blossoming there. But then also that kind of got monotonous, and I was like, all right, let me get into the tech world. So I started getting into the tech world, built an app, got into the streaming world a little bit as well, and now actually looking to help raise funds for charities through using fantasy sports, starting in the NFL. We'll go over to the other sports here as well in the next few years. So really just trying to push forward community type environments. Like where can we build community and help out communities? It's kind of like my next kind of professional outlooking projects.
Love to hear that. Yeah, I have a huge real estate focus as well. That's my full-time profession.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you an agent or are you a broker or what?
No. We own our own real estate investment company that focuses on buying multifamily in the Midwest.
Nice.
It's been really cool. We just launched it in March. We got our first deal under contract right now that we're wrapping up and we'll close on in August. So.
Would you consider is it like a syndication or a fund or like
this one will be a syndication.
Nice.
Kind of have to build that track record, something to prove,
Yeah.
and then eventually get to a fund is our goal, and then be able to scale a machine. We're looking at the long game for this, not necessarily just.
Oh yeah.
We found a great deal. I'm gonna just syndicate and ramp up the fees. It's more of like low fees, high on the promote. But yeah, really excited about it. What kind of real estate do you focus in?
So kind of. What you're talking about is kind of how I started my kind of portfolio, where I started buying some multifamily out in Colorado, where I'm from, have some connections out there, and so I built up like 30 units out there, and I was buying from a house flipper out there who was flipping multifamily. We decided to partner up and scale, so we started a fund and went out to Kansas City, Missouri, and bought a mass foreclosure and executed that. I think that's up to like 74 units right now, some multifamily, some single family. And that's pretty much running itself at this point. We've closed the fund, so it's all allocated. And then same guy, we moved out to Alabama. Now we're starting a holdings company where we actually kind of have the three-headed monster. We have a broker who's like hardcore into brokering, like finding like distressed sellers, people going through divorce, people that need money. So relieving them of their asset, giving them cash, gives us a deal. We'll either flip it, put it out to the market, or we'll flip it, save it, put it in our holdings company out there. So we're looking to pick up a few hundred units over the next few years doing that. So that's kind of been that's over like the span of like 8 years that I just explained that to you.
Yeah.
So that's been a progression that we've been going through over with my real estate portfolio.
Oh, that's really cool. We could probably talk about that all day.
Yeah, great minds think alike.
Yeah, sorry.
I can talk about that all day, but we need to get us some more stuff.
I can't too, man.
Dude, I love this. We've obviously, Will's big into real estate, started his, company this year. And so we've had a bunch of people on. We've had guests from the NFL, NBA, you name it, kind of all over the world. Just, people who are doing, being successful in whatever field they are. But we haven't had anybody come in here and pick Will's brain on real estate. So I'm like, go.
We'll switch it up a little bit.
Switch up the entire pod, man. I do have a question, when it comes to investing. Our guy Lucas in the back, he's always getting all the research and everything. That was a very successful portfolio you put together. You got to tell me about the lamp company.
Oh my goodness!
Give me the pitch that you got, the Shark Tank pitch that you got.
Look, man, it was a project. As entrepreneurs, we go through a ton of different projects. Let me give some background. So, I had a friend from college who basically was selling these lasers, and these lasers can like imprint on like metal and stuff like that. Well, they can also take paint off of stuff, and so he had the idea to basically paint over like these flask looking bottles and put a light into it, and then you laser off some of the paint, and it looks like a little, like a face or your family or whatever, Christmas tree. And so it was like, we called it One-Offs Plus. It's still actually up today. So shout out to my man Oppo, who's still out there grinding. But it was something I pushed for a little bit, and I got behind it. I invested some money just to help kind of get another laser and kind of ramp it up. But it was just, it was treading water, and it was one of those that I just kind of had to cut off. But I know Oppo's still going strong with it. But again, as an entrepreneur, you go out there, you try things, you learn, you get better, you go reapply your learning. So that was one of those learning experiences. Yeah.
For sure. I had to ask.
Actually, look what we got right here. Here it is.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, humble, hustle hard. There it is.
Love that.
There it is.
Man. I started college with, we embossed our school logo on choppers and sold those, and just like, made a couple bucks, it's fun stuff.
It was something to try out.
It is fun. Hey, so you're active online. You do, like you said, you do all different types of things. And, I'm part of the fantasy football leagues that we got coming on. So I'm excited about that once it kicks off. What do you think? I feel like there's sometimes a misconception, especially during season, that fans sometimes get when people are being active on social media. I guess for you, what is your... you're so consistent. Why are you, and what do you hope to always build with that community that you're growing? That's how I've always viewed it. It's you can interact with however many people with your platform. You're fans from the Chargers, you're fans from wherever, and introduce them to things or raise awareness about things or just have fun. What's kind of your mindset, and what kind of drives you to stay consistent on social media and all those other platforms?
Yeah, for sure. I actually have to make some welcome videos to get some people signing up for yours. So shout out to everyone who's been supporting your foundation and jumping in your leagues. But for me, kind of how I see the brand, it has changed over the years. I think really kind of was just me maturing and now I'm 30 years old, which is crazy in the athlete world. But for me, going into this whole thing of the athletes space, wanted to build up, some following so that I can get brand deals and things like that. And really was looking at it from a monetary standpoint. And as I kind of got older and matured a little bit, made some more money, I realized, okay, there's actually power within the community, and you can actually go do cool things if you just, set up a platform and go and execute that. And so that's kind of been the change, and where I'm at right now is how can we utilize this excitement of football and the brand of football, and not even just for me, but just for in general, people that just love football. How can we utilize that in different ways to help each other and help bring more to the game? And so, you mentioned, the charity draft stuff. Fantasy football is massive. People love fantasy football. As athletes, we don't really get much out of it besides some notoriety and some people, either flaming us in the DMs or hyping us up. So this was a way where it's like, okay, for me, I want to see, is there a way we can actually get something from this stuff? Because it's not really doing much for us besides, making the game or making our name a little bit more well known if you're doing well. But if you're not, then you're, on the other side. So that's kind of been my philosophy over the next year and how it's changed. It's like, okay, how can we utilize this community? And it's not always everybody. It's just really carving out a piece of the community that can really help with what I'm doing with my brand at this point. So it's kind of changed from a monetary kind of standpoint more towards a utility standpoint.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And yeah, like I said, I feel like sometimes people just get that. They're like, oh, they're on social media, study the playbook. It's like, well, to be able to do what we're doing, we are locked into the main thing, I promise.
Right, yeah, that's the funniest thing, because people always see us on Sundays. So yes. I get it. People are like, all you do is football, that's all you should be doing, because the only emotional connection that I have to you is watching you on Sunday. And so if they ever see us doing everything else, this is not everybody, I'm just speaking.
Yeah.
It's like there's always those people that are like, get in the weight room, or I'm doing even my one-on pull-up video. They're like, how is this going to help you beat the Eagles? I can't win. I can't post anything. It is. You take the good with the bad. There's always those people.
I was going to ask. My bad. Go ahead, Will.
No, I was going to say, I think you said that you learned that from Gary Vee, I think he was at some sort of NFLPA thing or some event where he spoke, and he said posting every day and just being out there, being seen by people is important, especially in today's age when you can be seen every day by getting stuff on people's phones. And yeah, I just think it's a really positive thing.
Here's what I actually learned, and this is relevant to AJ actually, and it's going back to how we opened this thing up. But I found out like, yo, you can go and push like some type of thing that you're doing for like, a good year. If you do it for a year, it's gonna trickle, and people are gonna know you for that for the next few years. And it was funny because I don't know if you still do this, AJ, but like I had someone comment on a post the other day. They're like, why aren't you playing Farm Simulator? And I'm like,
That's great.
Awesome person, but that is hilarious. I don't know if he's still doing it. Yeah, there it is.
Is that Austin Ekeler?
Yeah, they sent me an Austin Ekeler bobblehead, but the new Farming Simulator came out. They were like, "Hey, bro, we got to send you a care package."
That's hilarious. But just you being known for that time in that space is just carried out. Are you still on the Farm Simulator?
I've been off the video games, bro, for honestly like since we went into camp last year. I do miss streaming, but like with the kiddo, I gotta use my time to do other things more productively. Like I can't just be sitting down for. I would say though, like I had a tough time getting off. If we're in the off season, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fire up the stream. I'm on there for a while. It's not one game and hop off. We're on there. We're grinding. So
So kind of going back to the point to kind of close it out, it was like there's a residual to the effort that you put in your culture and your brand. And that's exactly what, I experienced when people were like, why aren't you on the Farm Simulator? But they just, got the wrong person. So it's important. It's powerful.
Hey, speaking of like the DMs from fans, I was going to ask, we wrote a question down, like what's the weirdest like DM or like funniest DM you've gotten after a game that you can share? I was thinking about this because my wife, she unfortunately just broke her foot. And so she's in a boot. Yeah, it's tough. Bad deal.
That's hard.
And so somebody commented on her post though, because she does a lot of like influence and she has her platform. And somebody was like, "Hey, much better you than AJ," which is like, dang. Like also. Fair point.
Yeah, I kind of had something similar actually. Back when I was with the Chargers, I like had a high ankle sprain, and people are just like they're so diehard, they're so emotionally attached. I love it, and people are like offering up their ankle, like, hey man, like if I can, like you could have my ankle, you could have both of them. There's always just people that are just so like into it to want to help out. There's obviously the other side too, where people are just like I needed one more fantasy point, everything in between. So I don't really pay too much attention to it. If there is people that are giving me love for over and over and over again, and I'm like, oh, I saw that, and I'll jump in there and show some love back, because shout out to the people that are supporting. But yeah, you can't pay too much attention to the DM.
No, for sure. I do remember, like, I think it was my second year in the league. I'm still trying to figure everything out. It's earlier in the year, or we played the Rams, and somebody obviously for their parlay or whatever needed me to score one more touchdown, and I got this DM after the game. It's like, bro, just grab that ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands next time, bro. I needed you to, bro. I'll pay the fine.
Right.
Aaron ended up throwing a touchdown. He wasn't even a fan of the Packers. But no, it's too good. All right, well, let's have some fun. Let's break into some fun segments, some pass hitting things. What's your thoughts on? Do you play any Madden?
I do not play Madden. I haven't played Madden since 07.
Okay, perfect. Well, I was going to ask who would win versus you and Will. I think that one's pretty
Will's
obvious.
Probably got it.
But if you were gonna build your perfect football player, your perfect running back, right? You can only take one thing from yourself. We got 5 different categories: speed, vision, strength, off the field hustle, and the dog factor.
Does off the field hustle do anything in Madden?
You need it, bro. You need it, because that's how you said that's the brand. That's the brand.
Well, you didn't even say like agility. I feel like my like make you miss like percentage last year was like one of the highest that I've ever had.
All right, toss that one in there.
Yeah, put that one in there. I think it was the most efficient catch to miss ratio that I've had in my career. So taking that one for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let them know. Like seriously, let's make people miss.
Open field tackles are tough. Open field tackles are definitely tough. All right, we're sticking with the quick fire.
Yep.
What's your go-to cheat meal?
Go-to cheat meal. Wow. Well, I'd say pizza is a no-brain kind of like consistent one.
Yeah.
We got this place down the road. They got this hot honey and double pepperoni. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Hot honey double pepperoni. That does sound
It's
gas.
fire.
That does sound fire.
Favorite city to escape in the off season?
Favorite city, gotta be the one I'm in right now, Las Vegas. Shout out to Vegas. Great golf, warm weather, desert vibes. You got the Strip, which amazing food. Me and my lady always go down and get some food. Always people coming in. They got Summer League, UFC, the Sphere, the shows, football, everything. What you want, we got it. Besides,
Did you move? When did you move
besides
there?
green grass. What's that?
When did you move there? Are you there full time now?
I've been out here for, I think we've been out here for like 3 years, 3 or 4 years now, actually.
Nice.
What's
I've heard,
your
I've
hand?
heard sweet things about, honestly, Vegas. People say
I
the
bet.
suburbs are.
What was that?
People say the suburbs are like unreal Vegas.
Oh, yeah, yeah. People think of Vegas and they think immediately Strip because that's what they typically go to when they're down here. But for us, yeah, no, we're like outside of the Strip about 20 minutes, but go down there probably once a week for dinner and stuff like that.
What's your golf handicap?
Oh,
Mine's currently
I don't even have a golf
28.6.
handicap. What's that?
Mine's 28.6 currently.
Wow. I have not done like an actual handicap for myself because my wife and I always play a scramble. And the best we've ever shot was like an 84, which is, as a scramble, is not
That's
great.
fantastic.
That's pretty
But
good.
that was a scramble. It's because we had 2 people. So that's what I'm saying. Like we're not yet to the point where we can count our own score until we can get like in the 70s as a scramble. So we save our sanity that way.
I respect that.
Who's
Do you
the?
have a-
Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Yeah, I was
There you
gonna
go.
say, who's the funniest teammate you've ever had?
Funniest teammate I've ever had. We actually last year was Jonathan Allen. That dude is always cracking jokes. And the thing is just like it's so effortlessly. That's just his personality. Like you just always know he's messing around. He's not with us anymore, but he was definitely one. I also had one in LA, Chris Rumpf. He's a D end out there. Was another one who definitely had a sense of humor. Derek Watt. Funny story about Derek Watt. My rookie year, I didn't know anything about the NFL. I'm getting used to this, but he was asking me. He's like, "Hey man, have you done your drug test yet?" I was like, "Yeah, I got like the drug one, the street drug and stuff like that." He's like, "Have you done the poop test yet?" And I was like, "No, there's a poop test." Like what do you? So this man was always, and he would always just messing around. Like, hey man, looks like you got some ligma on your arm right there.
Yeah.
Like always playing and just messing around. So shout out to Derek for being definitely the class clown. So those are 3 right there that I've had. A lot of funny guys in the NFL for sure.
Yeah. Dude, my favorite is when they mic up like just a class clown of the team. You get somebody mic'd up like that, it's
sure.
dangerous. It is. Do you have obviously your passion right now is golf off season, one of passions for all those people. It's obviously football. But do you have something that you like feel nobody knows about, but you're like top 5 at?
Ooh.
Do you have something, whether it's like singing, game night trivia, fishing, something like you are him. People don't know about it, but like you really like that.
I feel like most of my competition comes from football.
Okay.
I think so. That's where my competition kind of itch is scratched. I know the entrepreneur world is competition, but it's kind of like open source. So you're like you against everybody. So I can't really say if I have like a top 5 thing that I'm getting into or that I'm into right now.
No like board games. You're not like I claim the Monopoly crown. I feel like I'm top 5. It's a little something.
Nothing that's interesting right now. Like one of
fair
the
enough.
things that I've been really getting into is AI automation. So if you want me to automate all your social media, scrape leads for you, stuff like that, like I can definitely hook you up and pretty much create a whole company for you around AI automation if you need.
Oh, well, that's pretty fire. No big deal.
Yeah,
It's a little cooler than being able to beat people at Monopoly.
Who was your idol running back growing up or just in the league now? Who would that be?
So I didn't watch the NFL to my junior year of college, as I mentioned. I grew up on a ranch. Like I said, I grew up watching bass fishing and bull riding. That was kind of like my professional sports that I watched. We'd watch some Nebraska football every once in a while, but that's because my cousin coached there. So for me, I grew up, building a lot of barbed wire fence, going to just my school that was like 20 miles away, and I'd just get into all the sports just because it was something to do, and I didn't have to go home and take care of all the animals. We had like horses, pigs, cows, chickens, stuff like that. So for me, it was more so like the sports were like a getaway. It wasn't like something that I was like really into for like, I love the game and all the people that play it. So yeah, that's kind of my unique story and, you know, how I got into the NFL, which doesn't necessarily have a player that I looked up to attached to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a great transition, honestly, is obviously a lot of kids grew up playing Madden or watching a team that you've been on, especially this last year. You guys had a really great season being on the Commanders and everything. Like, what would your advice be for like that next kid coming up in the football space of just, you know, whether they might be undrafted coming out and trying to find a team or, you know, just, you know, nervous about camp or just anybody from a younger age playing football? Like, what's your advice kind of how to approach it?
Yeah, if you're really wanting to take on the football route, this is what I've told even my little brother going through this, or even, you know, other guys, is that the opportunity that can come from football is so great that it deserves you to put so much energy into it that it feels like that's the only thing that really matters at the time. Because the upside that can come from this, by taking advantage and getting in early when you're really not known, when you're trying to establish yourself, when you're trying to get known by the coaches, it is so important because it changes the entire trajectory of your life. It goes from you getting yourself in and actually giving you an opportunity to stay around and have some generational wealth, build a brand, XYZ, and still trying to figure out, okay, should I still be playing or not? And those are two different mindsets going forward. So the mindset has to be there that this is everything. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to put everything I can. And you don't want to be in a situation where you feel like, oh, it was something that I didn't do that caused me to fail. It's like, oh, I should have done this. You cannot do that to yourself. And if you don't do that to yourself, then regardless of the result, like, you have to live with that because that's everything you could have done. There's some things that you just can't control. Timing, you know, your genetics, your, you know, competition, how you were recruited, all these things you can't necessarily control. So that's what I would say is 100% effort into controlling what you can control and making sure you do everything to take advantage of whatever opportunities in front of you.
Perfect.
That's a great answer, man. What's the one decision that changed everything for you? Do you have that, you know, that one canon event that changed everything or decision you've made?
Yeah, I would say leaving for college the day I graduated high school was like my step into kind of my journey that has led me to this point in my life. And I say that because I put myself in a position where all the pressure was on me to go out and maintain myself. I need to go get a job. I got to pay for my rent. But I was in the mindset of I'm getting out of a situation that I'm in because I want to go find something that's better for myself. And so that was like the first step into me being an independent person and kind of buying into this mindset of I have to grind, I have to make it work, I have to go make something for myself, regardless if it's in football or if it's within my education. I thought it was going to be my education, so that's what I put most of my time into. Still did a lot of football, absolutely. But it was definitely leaving early back when I was 17 and putting myself in a position to put all the pressure of my life in my own hands.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to take that first step. And I mean, obviously it worked out for you. The Cannon event worked out. You're doing amazing things. And, you know, I've been a fan, you know, since, you know, playing against you and watching you before and still now, even though, you know, we're not supposed to like each other. But you know, I'm excited for this year, having another chance to go head to head. Got to get a jersey swap.
100%.
Both of you each wear your own or hold your own jerseys up.
Tell who's who. Crop out the pants. But nah, man, we appreciate your time. And like I said, I know you got a lot going on. For everybody who maybe missed it or they're popping into the pod later, what's next for you? Where can they find the things that you're doing that you're trying to promote that are coming up here as we get started before camp and everything?
Yeah, I would say one thing that's going to be really exciting this year, that a project that we have going on, it's called Charity Draft. And what it is we're playing fantasy football. You're already probably playing fantasy football, especially if you're listening to this podcast or in some fashion associated with AJ, who's in Charity Draft. So here's a great time to play, but also play for some awesome prizes provided by AJ and also some of our stuff, and give back to the community. So not only are you getting to have fun, but also impacting the world in a way as well. So definitely check us out on Charity Draft. There's a lot of guys on there. And let's just, make this year great in the fantasy space.
Hey, I love it. Fantasy football, man. I was back
We're
in it
back.
last year a little bit, with some extra time. So it's cool to get in there and keep following Austin on everything that he's doing. Austin Ekeler on Instagram, all that other good stuff. You guys will find him. You just type in the name on Google. There'll be a lot of search history there. But nah, man, we appreciate your time. And as always, for our listeners, make sure to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We appreciate all your support. Comment anything on the video down below that you want to hear us talk about next, or things you liked about this episode. We appreciate you.